Miss Nina, we can't hear you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's book club. I was saying I have been struggling, y'all. My brain, it's like a little foggy. I've been really sick over the last like 48 hours, and I've just been pushing and pushing and pushing. And after I got in last night, it just was like TKO. It was like a technical knockout. And so I'm glad that we are here. Welcome to book club. And if this is your first time here, let us know in the comments that this is your first time. Let us know by just hitting the one, and we'll know that it's your first time. If you're here all the time because your desire is to grow and learn, then let us know by hitting the two. And if you're just ready to level up, just say me, I am, I am, I am. I know for me, books are so a part of my life now. I don't even have any more room on my shelves, but I just keep buying them. And I figure one of these days I'm gonna get to all of them. What I've learned about books, you all, is that sometimes a specific book is for us, but maybe it's like a portion of the book. It may not be the entire book at the time. But the reason why I like hard copies is because I like to be able to go back. And then sometimes when I go back months later or maybe a year later, a different portion of the book seems to apply to my life at a different time of my life. And so book club is so important because one, we cannot pour from an empty cup. And so on Mondays, unless I'm away, I am here to fill your cup. Books are books, and reading in book club is so important because you'll never earn more than you learn. And then books are so important because leaders are readers. And if we desire to lead in any capacity, we have to read, right? So if we want to lead, we got to read. And I know that the rest of our folks will start pouring in a little bit after six. They probably on CP time. But I am certainly glad to be here. I'm still feeling a little foggy and a little dizzy, but I figured I could do book club because I'm sitting down. I've been laying down, and I think just me sitting up it's got me feeling a little bit. But I'm in the chair, so I won't fall. We're gonna be good. All right. I did not want to delay another week, and I'm just gonna go until my body says enough is enough because we got another call at 8 o'clock, and gotta make sure I'm good for that. All right, so hello to the YouTube world. And if you all are on YouTube, you know what we need you to do on YouTube. We need you to put those hashtags in Goodreads, BookTube, and BookTok on YouTube if you would. Thank you to Jasmine and Tara for letting people in the room for us. And if you can turn on your cameras, please do. I would love to see your bubbly smiling faces. It'll give me some energy today. As like I said, it's been a struggle. I ain't even gonna front. I started drinking some electrolytes, and the electrolytes actually started to help me start to come around and feel like a person. And it's the only thing that I've been able to keep down for the last 48 hours. So I'm running on fumes. All right, so we are reading in chapter um 5, I believe this one is about expecting up an abundance. And what we're learning, and for those of you that have been on every single book club, what we're learning is that we so often look externally for what's already inside of us. And what I like about this book, outside of the other books, every other book that we read always tells us what we got to go do, what we got to go do, what we got to go find, who we've got to become. But this particular book is talking about us rearranging the things that are already there for us to become who we need to become without becoming a different person. Just it's okay, Tammy. The fact that you're here is good. Um, just the mere fact of rearranging things that are already going on or who we already are, not becoming a whole brand new person. And I think that that excites me. That excites me because when we think about evolution, growing and becoming more, and we know that that does require change, but oftentimes the change appears like it's so far beyond us. Can I get an amen? Can I get a whoop whoop to that? Right? It appears like it's going to take forever to happen. But when I think about the fact that God says, He said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Let there be water, and there was seas, and let there be. Then that means that it doesn't have to take a long time for any of those things to happen. And when we look at what Bob Proctor is saying in this book, that we're born rich, and we looked up those words, and that was powerful in itself, that we're born rich. Everything that we need is already inside of us. They just may not be in the right places or positions. So that's what this book is helping us to do. Rearrange. It's kind of like doing a puzzle, and we're trying to force the puzzle piece to fit, but it doesn't go there. It just needs to be moved to another place. We got the pieces to the puzzle, but we got to place them in the right place so that they fit, and then they make up the whole picture. I believe that's where we are with this book, and I feel that it's a very, very fine timing for where I know a lot of us are, and even when I'm talking to people, a lot of where they are in life as well. So we left off on page 93. You don't need the book. I'm going to read it for you. And we left off on page 93 in the chapter of expecting an abundance. And I think last time we were together, we only were able to get through like 2 or 3 pages because it was so powerful. I don't even think we were able to go past like 2 pages. We are on page 93. Since spirit is flowing to and through you, you are the instrument. Therefore, the image or the ideas that you hold in your mind dictate the limits that are placed on your spiritual power flowing to and through you. I mean, God, we in the first paragraph and it's like bam in your face. Right? Okay, I'm going to read that one again. That's pretty darn powerful. Since spirit is flowing to and through you, it's flowing to us, it's flowing through us. We are the instrument. Say, I am the instrument. Because see, so many times we think, well, somebody else is the instrument. They're better off than me, or they talk better than me, or they look better than me. No, I am the instrument. Me, you, Nichelle, Virginia, Jasmine, Cheryl, Tedra, you are the instrument. Joyce Wyatt, Misha, Tara, Mattia, Sonia, to our Zoom user. I think BB, I see Charnice, Tammy Clark. I think BB is Bridget. You are the instrument. And so it says, therefore, the image or the ideas that you hold in your mind dictate the limits that are placed on the spiritual power flowing to and through you. Who we think we are, how we see ourselves will dictate the power flowing to and through us. So we either become a magnet or a repellent.
Right. You know,
Rut row. Rut row. I'm going to mute everybody out until we get to the end. We either become a magnet or a repellent. Ooh, in this respect, you may be compared to the light bulb that the elderly couple had in their home. You are an instrument through which spirit flows, just as a light bulb is an instrument through which electricity flows. When the old couple plugged in the 8 candle power bulbs, the electricity was limited. Hold on one second, let me let them in. The electricity was limited in its expression by the power of the bulb. However, when the salesman plugged in the 60 candle power bulb, the electricity was free to express itself to a greater degree, yet even then, it was limited by the form through which it flowed. The new bulb, a 100 candle power bulb, would have permitted an even greater expression. So, what flows out of us is not based on anything that anybody thinks about us. What flows out of us, Cheryl, Tedra, Nichelle, Misha, Jasmine, Virginia, what flows out of us is determined by what we think about ourselves. That's what it just said. And the more we think, the better we begin to get clarity, the better we begin to think how we think about ourselves, how we perceive ourselves. All of that will either illuminate us or make us keep us in darkness even longer. That's so powerful. Therefore, if you have held an image of poverty, rut row, that is what you will have seen expressed in your results or your material world. However, since you are now holding an image of prosperity, that is the image that you will see expressed in your material world. However, Since you are now holding an image of prosperity, that is the image that you will see expressed in your material world. The non physical, creative substance, which is spirit, flows to and through the seed and expresses itself in its polar opposite physical form, as we have discussed. The modus operandi of spirit is law, the law of attraction is a cause, and growth or expansion is the effect. So, what does that mean? That means who we think we are, what we think we are, how we think of ourselves, that is what we begin to manifest. Then it says, the spirit flows to and through the seed and expresses itself in its polar opposite form. So once the spirit moves through us, right? Once the manifestation of the seed happens on the other side, manifests in a totally different form, in a physical form. Okay? As we have discussed, the modus operandi of spirit of law, the law of attraction, is a cause, and growth or expansion is the effect. Law of attraction is the cause, growth or expansion is the effect. Cause and effect. When I was growing up, my mother used to always say to me, Nina, there's cause and effect. There's cause and effect. Everything we do is cause and effect. Cause and effect. Well, it's like that even when it comes to our success lives. It's like that in the spirit, cause and effect. What goes in is what comes out. Garbage in, garbage out. There are some people that literally will sit and rehearse what they're not all day long. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. And when we allow ourselves to sit by ourselves, it's funny because y'all know that song, Brandy. I think it was Brandy, right? Sitting up in my room, right? That song, even though it was an R&B song, that was spiritual. It was prophetic. Don't sit up in a room by yourself. It is the worst place, the worst thing to do. To be in a dark space by yourself, or even if the light is on, I'm calling it a dark space because the dark space is the atmosphere of the space. Don't do it. If you are already feeling bad about yourself for whatever reason, one, you need to get up and go look in the mirror and talk about the fact that you are a miracle. And that's why affirmations are so important. It is not a gimmick. Affirmations are important. Even Paige is in a youth mentorship program, an entrepreneur moguls mentorship program. And they have the young ladies making videos about affirmations to speak who they are. And they had to record the video of them saying it over and over and over and over again. Because saying it one time is not enough. Saying it one time is not enough. So, how do we see ourselves? How do we perceive ourselves? All of that always shows in it manifests, you guys, just like this just said. In expansion is the effect. If the expansion is the effect, if the cause is right. Do we understand? Because it says the law of attraction is a cause. So when you're thinking about law of attraction, what are you attracting based on what you think, how you think about yourself? So keep visualizing yourself as a perfectly endowed spiritual instrument without limitations of any kind. And if you do, you will find it easy, in fact, natural, to expect the good that you desire. You will understand that doubt simply obstructs the unfoldment of your desire. So when you continually originate images of doubt, you know you will never see the materialization of the image that you desire. Only the reproductive, creative spirit of life knows what you think until your thoughts become physical facts and materialize in your body or your affairs. Then everyone with whom you come in contact may know, because the intelligent energy rewards you openly by the reproducing your thoughts in a physical form. Perfect example. Some of you have never seen me in person, but a lot of you have. And for those of you that have seen me in person, the one thing most people say is, although I'm not loud and boisterous, that's not who I am, but I have an energy, even though at times I'm quiet, that is undeniable. When I walk in a room, you know that I'm there because I bring the energy with me. For those of you who know me, you know what I'm saying, right? I bring this. So the one thing that people know about me is, oh, she's got so much energy. She's always so positive. What are people saying about you? They're only going to say some things about you based on what you give off. What aura are you giving off to people? That is important. You got to ask yourself, what am I portraying? And if you don't think that you're portraying something good because we attract who we are, then change it. You are not a rock. You are not a tree. Change it. And every day you just keep changing it. And every day, and I'm going to tell y'all, I need you to really understand. Every day is not like I'm on cloud nine. I have to wake up and make sure I talk myself into it all the time. Like today, as sick as I was, and as sick as I don't feel good now. I'm dizzy now. But I still said to myself, well, Nina, you got two choices. You can either lay down to this thing and let this just take you over, or you can do what you can. So I messaged my coach and I said, hey, I'm really sick. And at that point, y'all, when I messaged him, I was in the middle of I was sick. And I said, so I'm getting on the business meeting. I said, but do you mind if I keep my camera off? Because he knows I don't do that. And he said, you sure you want to get? I said, yeah, I don't want to miss. I gotta be there, but I just need to leave my camera off because I don't know. I wasn't looking like myself, right? And I laid down and was in the class to be present, but I was still present because I still told myself that I still have a need. Does this make sense? Like I still have a big need. And because I still have a big need, I didn't want missing the one class to put me behind. And I'm so glad I got on there because there was like one thing, there was several things he said that was so like, wow. But there was one thing that I really needed that I grabbed onto from the class. And I said, I'll just take it easy until I got book club. Because in my mind, I still wanted to make sure that I'm able to portray the essence of where we are, the essence of what we need, and what this book is really, really saying. I still chose. So every day, even though I wasn't the best this morning, I still had the presence of mind to say, okay, I got to make this decision. I'm not going to overdo it, but I'm not going to let it take me down either. Does that make sense? Because sometimes we die to how we feel instead of taking control of how we feel. And okay, it was like, all right, this is what you're feeling, Nina. Your body's telling you, your body's telling you. And it was telling me all night. But I told myself this morning, I won't die to it. And that's where we got to be. When we know that the desire that we have is great, we have to make up in our minds that, hey, and I said it last night on a training that we had, you can you can take off without unplugging. Does that make sense? There's a way to take off and not unplug. And y'all saw me do it last week. I don't know how I did it. I just do it. And I think because we overthink it, we overthink everything. So it says, if you do, you will find it easy, in fact, natural to expect the good that you desire. So I expected the good that I desire was I need to be able to get through the two things that I have to do tonight. Like it's what I have to do. It's on my schedule. And it says that it says expect the good that you desire. In fact, it'll be natural. It'll be easy. You will understand that doubt simply obstructs the unfoldment of your desire. So when you continually originate images of doubt, you know that you will never see the materialization of the image that you desire. Only the reproductive creative spirit of a life. The reproductive creative spirit of life. That's a bar for Dr. Jameson. The reproductive creative spirit of life knows what you think until your thoughts become physical facts and materialize in your body or your affairs. then everyone with whom you come in contact may know, because the intelligent energy rewards you openly by reproducing your thoughts in physical form. So good. This is so good. So, this is telling us here we cannot lie to ourselves. We cannot lie to ourselves. And we have to now go back to doing the lessons that were taught in this book, that we have to go back and we have to say, what am I allowing to hold me back from being who God created me to be? Is it my childhood? Is it something that happened? What is holding us back? And let me give you an assignment. I'm gonna give you an assignment. I am under the mentorship of one of my mentors. I have a few. One of my mentors, Dr. McKnight, and she has an assignment for me to do, and I'm gonna give the assignment to you. Anybody ready to really take their lives to another level? Because we, for whatever reason, not me, because I don't hold it, but there's a lot of women, especially women, and I see we're all women on here. There might be some men on the YouTube, but a lot of women hold on to things that have happened, and we hold on to people that have harmed us, that have abused us, that have hurt us, that have damaged us. And what she told me to do is this, and I'm going to share the exercise with you all. You take a balloon and you blow the balloon, you get some helium in the balloon, okay? You are going to write the names of the people that you need to forgive on the balloon with a marker, so be careful. So maybe you want to get more than one balloon just in case one pops, all right? But you take a marker, a Sharpie, and you're going to write the names of everyone that you need to forgive. Everyone. You don't have to write the offenses. You don't have to write what they did to you, but you got to write their names on the balloon. And then once you are finished writing their names on the balloon, you are going to release the balloon and you are going to watch the balloon float away. And the moment that you can no longer see the balloon, it's over. It's over. And you let it go and you let them go. Because the only person that's in prison is you. They are not in prison. Your offenders or the people who might have damaged you, hurt you, it could have been a childhood teacher, an uncle, a parent, a spouse, a cousin, a grandpa, whoever, your pastor, friends, whatever it is, whomever it is, everybody that it is, write them on the balloon. And then you release the balloon and you watch the balloon until you can no longer see it. And record it for yourself. Record it for yourself. And you say those words. Today is the day I'm letting it go. I'm letting them go. I'm letting it go. Every offense, every abuse, every awful word, every deed, every time I felt alone or abandoned, you write the person or the people on the balloon and you say, I am letting it go so that I can be free as this balloon. And when I can no longer see this balloon, I am 100% free of everything that is binding me. Now, that one was for free, okay? It doesn't mean to bring them back in my life. No, it's to release every offense. Release it and let it go, all right? Because once we change the way that we think about ourselves, because a lot of times what we think about ourselves is the perception through the eyes that have been hurt or damaged. We got to let it go. We got to let it go. And we got to stop comparing ourselves to somebody else. I'm telling you, I remember y'all not wanting to really speak in front of rooms, and I mention this all the time. Well, let me tell y'all something. Let me put this every offense to release the offense and the person. Let me put this on gallery view so I can see everybody. So I joined my first network marketing company in 2008, and I actually started speaking because um I had a great testimony. And that's the first time that I actually went away from singing in church only. And I would say things like, I don't speak. My brother, he's the speaker. I only sing. And because my brother, if y'all ever heard him talk, Tedra tell you, he sound like sum cum laude. Like he sound like he been to college. Nikki, you know what I'm talking about. He sound like he been to college. And my brother has not gone to college, but he reads a lot of books. He's an avid reader. He's an avid studier. He's studious, very studious. And although he didn't even walk at Central, he had to go back to summer school for his diploma. He became a very avid reader, and he remembers everything. He like everything. And I don't. I got to write mine down. And so because I got to write mine down and he could just recite it like booty booty boo boo, I compared myself to him. And I didn't want to speak. And then he joined my team. We finally ended up working together in 2014. And he all sum cum laude, right? And then I'm not. But I didn't care anymore because I got to a place where I understood, and this is what I need every one of y'all to understand, that there's a tribe that will only listen to you. Just like there's a tribe that will only listen to him. Or not that they will only listen to him, but they hear it better from him. And then there's a tribe that will hear it better from me. And then there's a tribe that will hear it better from Tedra or Jasmine or Misha or Dr. Jameson or Nichelle. There's a tribe out there that will hear it better from you. Problem is, because we keep comparing ourselves, we won't go look for our tribe. I'm just trying to tell you that I was there. And so I understand now what I had to do was I had to practice my craft. And you know why I am not great. I'm a good speaker. I'm not a great speaker yet. Yet. I'm in classes for it. Okay? So, well, he don't call them classes because my mentor Marcus says when you think it's a class, you show up expecting that you don't have to do any work. You show up expecting that the teacher has to do all the work teaching you. But when you come to a business meeting, you know you came because you got to do business. So he don't call our sessions classes, even though for me it's a class. Okay, so I'm learning to speak better because everything in your life and business gets better when you get better with words. And a clear communication comes from a clear mind. You're clear in the way that you communicate when you have a clear mind. So what I started to do, y'all, was this. Read. I started reading. I stopped watching TV and I started watching only things that would help my mind grow. So every now and again, I will reward myself with if I want to watch a movie or I want to watch a series, I got to watch it late at night. I don't allow myself to do that during the daytime. But you become what you feed yourself. So garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. Does this make sense, everybody? So how did I go from I can't speak because I don't speak. That's what he does. That's not what I do. I sing. He speaks. How did that happen? Because I started to practice my craft. And I was just sharing with Paige as Paul was teaching her AI. We have an AI course, and this AI course is like a $25,000 course. And we said she's going to start learning this AI because it's the way of today. And as we began to teach it to her, and she's finally starting it, like it's starting to click. And we were telling her, there are people who teach this AI education. They become the people who run the AI for corporations. They make thousands of dollars a week. And she's like, what? But I watched her sit down and know nothing. And now she's at a place where it's all starting to click for her. Because the more she practices, the better she will begin to understand it. It is just like us driving a car. How many of you were great the very first time you drove a car? I was terrible. How many of you were great? Nobody got behind the wheel and was fan fabulous. Nobody. But the more you drove, the better of a driver you became. Because now you could probably do it and it takes very little thought to do it. Because you practiced and you practiced and you practiced and you practiced. Why won't we do that in the areas that we want to be better in? We want to have success in them, but we won't practice those areas. So I spoke bad until I spoke good. Everybody started somewhere. Hello, everybody starts somewhere. And I spoke bad until I spoke good. And now I'm learning, now I'm in classes to learn to speak better, great. Does this make sense? I don't know why I felt like I needed to share that with y'all, but I need people to understand, like, I didn't wake up like this at all. I didn't wake up like this. I know we sing them songs like I woke up like this. No, I didn't. This took a lot of practice and every day still more practice. All right. So it's so fitting that the next part of this chapter, chapter 5, the subtitle is As a Man Thinketh. How fitting is that next part of this chapter, right? So as you think, that is what you become. I need everybody to say that out loud. As I think, that is what I become. And y'all know we read the book. It's a very, very small book. It's on my shelf over here. As a Man Thinketh. You could read that book in one day, not even in an hour and a half, maybe, Tedra, right? As a man thinketh. As you think, that is what you become. Should be kept in the forefront of our minds constantly. When you expect something wonderful to happen, that is watching and praying without ceasing. At times when you're not feeling quite up to par physically, or our mind is becoming clouded with doubt, we should realize it is time to pray with all the more conviction or work at developing a stronger feeling of expectation. You must guard your mind constantly against doubt. Let's say it. Guard my mind constantly against doubt. Because it is very easy to be doubtful the moment that we are faced with something that is not in our normal pattern or behavior. Because now it's something that we don't know to do. And we tend to think about it. When you are writing, we only write with the hand that is what? The strongest hand. But basketball players actually need to practice more with the hand that is not their dominant hand. But it's so easy to go back to the hand that's dominant because it's comfortable. That ain't gonna, you know what where that gets us? The same place we were every morning where we start. It is not until we begin to say, okay, this is not comfortable for me, but I know that in order for me to have what I want to have and become who I want to become, I got to spend some time over here on my less dominant hand. I've got to practice with my less dominant hand. Is this making any sense? So when you expect something wonderful to happen, it says at times we're not feeling quite up to par. Physically, our mind has become clouded with doubt. We should realize it's time to pray with all more conviction or work at developing a stronger feeling or of expectation. So what do we expect? We have to have a level of expectation. You must guard your mind constantly against doubt because it's crippling your vibration. The moment you begin to doubt, it's crippling your vibration. Y'all pay hundreds of thousands, y'all pay thousands of dollars to go to conferences to hear what this book is telling you right now. This. You don't need another conference to go sit in. You need to apply everything you know. Because how many more conferences are we going to go to hear the same, you need to believe in yourself? You hear the same thing at every conference. When are you going to say, let me just switch the light on? Let me just turn the light, let me just flick the switch. Because you must guard your mind constantly against doubt because it is crippling your vibration. Let's see what the word crippling means. Because that is a powerful, the way, I love the way, the imagery of that word. So let's see what the definition of crippling. Of crippling. All right. Causing a person to become unable to walk or move properly, causing a severe, almost insuperable problem. Crippling, severe problem. So, whereas most of the preceding pages have been dedicated to the power of positive thoughts, namely the building of the image of prosperity, doubt or negative thinking is the flip side of the coin. Doubt or negative thinking is the flip side of the coin. When you are entertaining doubts, you are actually creating images of the things that you don't want. And what happens, y'all, when we create images of the things that we don't want? We attract them. Whenever we begin to, when we start creating images of anything, that is what we attract. I'm trying to tell you. I create images of winning all the time. I create images of me crossing the finish line all the time. All the time. All the time. Because I win. I never lose. I learn, but I never lose. And I'm not afraid of failure. Failure just teaches me things. It teaches me maybe what I should not have done or what I need to do better. So we must guard our mind. It will cripple the vibration. And when you're entertaining doubts, you are actually creating images of the things you don't want. Moreover, justifying your doubt to yourself by originating reasons for it. Not only are we creating, you, not me, I don't do that, creating doubt, but you're justifying it. Because you're rehearsing what you doubt, and then you're creating justification. Rationalizing. More, it says justifying your doubt to yourself by originating reasons for it. That is called rationalizing. Will do you absolutely no good. You cannot strike a bargain with your subconscious mind. That is so powerful. Become the subconscious because the subconscious has no sense of fairness and no sense of humor. It cannot even determine what is good or what is bad for you. To the subconscious mind, every image just is. The subconscious will accept your negative, worrisome, and doubtful images just as quickly and willingly as your images of prosperity. The instant you become aware that you are entertaining thoughts which create doubt, become quiet, start relaxing, and image yourself already in possession of the prosperity that you desire. When you do this, say, when I do this, and you need to say it out loud. When I do this, I'm altering the mental current that is flowing into my marvelous mind. Say, my marvelous mind. Marvelous, darling. Like it is marvelous, darling. The instant that you become aware that you are entertaining thoughts which create doubt, the instant, the moment, y'all, the moment that you become quiet, start relaxing, the image of yourself already is in possession of the prosperity that you desire. So the very moment, the same way that you can rehearse doubt and take yourself down a rabbit hole is the same way that you can rehearse positive thoughts of prosperity and take yourself the other direction. You decide which way you want to go. by what you rehearse in your mind. So it says, expect with all of your consciousness to receive your good in your material world. You think in secret and it comes to pass. Oh my gosh. So, I'm in a business, I'm in a network marketing company, right? And I know people that say things like, I sign people up, but they ain't never gonna do nothing. Row. They probably not even going to work. They probably not even going to place an order. They probably never going to be on all. I could send out these invites, but ain't nobody really going to get on. Oh, so why are you mad when you get exactly what you said? Oh, how are you going to be mad when you get exactly what you said out your mouth or exactly what you thought? How could you be mad? Well, ain't nobody going to follow me. I'm never going to make any money. I'm never going to lose this weight. I'm never going to find love. I'm never going to get married. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm always broke. You're telling your subconscious mind what you want. I'm shocked when people don't tell me no. Like, oh, okay. Well, let me go find me a yeah, because what was that about? Because I'm always expecting a yes. And I got me a no yesterday. A whole family ganged up on me. Tedra was right there. She saw it. The whole family ganged up on me as if I was getting ready to do something to their mama. Okay. Oh, well. Oh, well. This ain't for you. Next. Not everybody buys a Mercedes Benz. Not everybody buys a BMW. Not everybody buys a Tesla. Not everybody buys a Lincoln. Not everybody buys a Honda. Not everybody. Do you think Honda is mad that somebody didn't want to buy that? No, that's just not their customer. But we take things so personal because we take it as a mark on ourselves, but you also expected it to happen. So because you expected it to happen, you got exactly what you wanted. I mean, the law of attraction don't lie. So if you expected something different, you would have gotten a different result at some point. You mean I'm going to talk to 50 people and none of them going to give me a yes? Well, then if that's the case, that's what I expected. And I got exactly what I expected. But the laws of attraction don't lie that normally you're going to convert about 10% of the people that you talk to, at least 10%. So if I want to convert, or if I want to convert, have more conversion, that means I got to up the amount of people that I'm talking to. Because if normally you convert, or you got to do your numbers, your laws of averages. If I convert 2%, 3% of the people that I talk to, then how many more people do you need to talk to get the numbers that you want? It's a numbers game. It ain't rocket science. It's a numbers game. Everybody understand that? So, expect with all your consciousness to receive your good in the material world. Right? James Allen wrote those words over a century ago when he said, you think in secret and it comes to pass. Environment is but your looking glass. It's so powerful. James Allen, you think in secret and it comes to pass. Environment is but your looking glass. He wrote those words over a century ago, but they are still true today and they will always remain true in the future. So program your personal computer, your mind, to expect good results. And that is exactly what you will receive. That phrase is so darn powerful. You think and it comes to pass. Environment is but your looking glass. And so we got 15 minutes. I think I could finish this. Pat and John's story. As I was writing these lines, I received a telephone call from a beautiful couple, Pat and John, whom I would definitely number among my close friends. They called to tell me that they were moving into their new home the following Tuesday, and I was elated to hear their delightful news. You see, less than 2 months earlier, I spent approximately 5 hours talking with them about the image making concept and the awesome power of the expecting attitude. During the conversation, I asked John what he wanted more than anything else in the world. And after a long period of silence, he looked me squarely in the eye and said, I would like Pat, Tony's daughter, Pat's daughter, and me to be in a house of our own by Christmas. And I would like to my son to spend Christmas Day with us. Although John's son lives with his mother, he and John have a very warm relationship. I asked John, well, why didn't he just go out and make his dream become a reality? He replied that he couldn't because he lacked the money to do so. I then had the audacity to remind John that all things are possible for those who believe. I want y'all to say that out loud. All things are possible for those who believe. So could it be that we aren't getting the results that we want because we really don't believe? Ruh-roh. The three of us then spent about an hour discussing the kind of house that they wanted until we all had a very clear image of their dream home etched upon the screens of our minds. We talked about expectation, and I explained to them that many good things would begin to happen for them the instant that they began to expect to be in the house for Christmas. Sure enough, the first thing that happened to them once this new attitude permeated their consciousness was that both their minds moved over to the how to the side of the ledger. New ideas began to flow like water, and questions came forth in rapid succession. So the moment that you change your mind, what happens, Jasmine? Boom, it moves over into another column. So Jasmine, and I watched her in the last few weeks, in the last 2 months, go from thinking she couldn't do this to she out at every vending event that she could be at. She schedules a home party and has a packed out house. She had a crew, I had a crew. We packed our house out. There was not another seat in the house. Well, unless you went into a whole nother room, but that was too far away. But what shifted? Nothing shifted about the product. What shifted was Jasmine. She began to believe to do this. And guess what? As she began to believe that she could do it, what happened was what? It shifted in her mind. It shifted in her mind. Sure enough, the first thing that happened to them once the new attitude permeated their consciousness was that both their minds moved over to the how. So she moved from the can't to the how. In her mind, it shifted. How much would a house like that cost? How much would they have to put down? Where would they find such a house? To get their answers to their questions, they needed the expertise of a real estate agent. I suggested John call Natalie Kopman, a lady I know who is a real estate professional, and tell her of his dreams. He should ask her what he would need in the way of finances to make his dream or image become a reality. Finally, I told him that he would have to get busy focusing all of his conscious attention on earning the amount of money that he would need to achieve his goal. And he would have to actually expect to earn whatever the amount was and in the allotted time. Surprisingly, it turned out that the amount of money that they required was far less than the figure that they had previously thought that it would be. Since John and Pat were both commissioned salespeople, their road to achieving the financial goal was not riddled with as many obstacles as the road for many other people. Nevertheless, without going into detail about money hurdles they did have to overcome, suffice it to say that with Natalie's help, Pat and John succeeded. Next Tuesday, they move into their new house. Next Saturday is Christmas Day. So not only did they get what they wanted, they got it in the time that they wanted it in. But that is because they made it very, very clear, and clear communication comes from a clear what? Mind. Clear communication comes from a what? Clear mind. Just as I hung up the receiver, I congratulated them on their new home and asked John if his son would be spending Christmas Day with them. Quietly, but with a voice brimming over with happiness, he answered, "Yes, he is." And it sure makes a difference when you expect what you do want rather than expecting what you don't want, doesn't it, Bob? I just smiled and said, "Yes, John, it sure does." Many people today live their entire lives on the basis of seeing is believing. The only images that get emotionally involved with are the ones that they can discern with their physical senses. But the individuals of real vision down through the ages have always known the overriding principle is what you see is what you get. So seeing is not believing. What you see, what you envision, that's what you get. This means that the images in people's minds precedes the concrete images which pervade our material world. The fascinating physical world we see before us with all of its conveniences for making our lives more comfortable has been built, largely by image makers, men and women of vision who knew what they could do and expected everything else to fall into place regardless of what their critics might say to the contrary. For example, two young mechanics from Ohio introduced us to an entirely new kingdom by building and holding an image of an airplane in flight. But if they had not expected to succeed, they would surely have quit the first time they were met with defeat. But since they did not, we are now only hours away from anywhere in the world. In fact, we can even reach other planets within a very short span of time. Edison built and held an image that illuminated the entire world, and as a result, we no longer need to spend half of our days groping in darkness. You too can change the world just as John and Pat did by building an image in your mind of exactly the way that you would like to live. But you will only receive what you truly expect. Now, not what you merely wish for. You will only receive what you truly expect, not what you merely wish for. There are 3 certain steps for achieving prosperity in all areas of your life. 1, write these down. Build the image in your mind. So, number 1 is build the image in your mind. Because there are 3 certain steps for achieving prosperity in all areas of your life. Number 1, build the image in your mind. Number 2, turn it over to spirit. Let go and let God. Once you build the image, let go and let God. That doesn't mean we don't work. That just means that we don't have the responsibility. He's got to make it happen. We got to do the work. But you put it out there in the atmosphere. And then number 3, we expect with your heart and soul that spirit will reward you openly for your faith. So you got to say that I will be rewarded openly for my faith. So I expect with my heart and soul that spirit will reward me openly for my faith. I'll say it one more time. Number 3, expect with your heart and soul that spirit will reward you openly for your faith. I would say for my faith. If I'm writing it, I would say for my faith. And then this chapter ends with the poem that I read not last week, but the week before. Thoughts are things. I hold it true that thoughts are things. They're endowed with bodies and breath and wings, and that we send them forth to fill the world with good results or ill. That which we call our secret thought speeds forth to earth's remotest spot, leaving its blessings or its woes like tracks behind it as it goes. We build our future thought by thought, for good or ill, yet know it not. Yet so the universe was wrought. Thought is another name for fate. Choose then thy destiny and wait, for love brings love and hate brings hate. That ends chapter 5. Expect the abundance. And next week, we will start with chapter 6, the law of vibration and attraction. That's going to be good. The law of vibration and attraction. And we ended in some really good time. And so I'm going to go ahead and close out because we do need to get ready for our 8 o'clock call. It is not on this line. So if you want to be on our 8 o'clock call, just reach out to one of us to get the link because it is not on this line because we actually have Spanish translation now and we need to be on another Zoom line. So I'm so glad that we had this time together, and I pray that you would enjoy the rest of the evening and enjoy the rest of your week. Let's make sure we pay it forward to someone, do a good deed, and be kind to one another. And let's make sure that we're inviting somebody to book club here on Mondays. It is so powerful, y'all. We're on chapter 6, and let's see, we only have 4 more chapters to go. So 4 more chapters and we're done with this book and we'll be moving on to something else. After Born Rich, I am so grateful that all of you thought it not robbery to be here with us. And I pray that we will all invite someone to come back with us next Monday. Always remember that God loves you and so do I. And there's absolutely nothing